Hi, everyone. Welcome back to our English learning show. I'm your old friend, Jason. Today, we're talking about something that's hard for many English learners. Remembering new words is boring and hard to keep doing. To find easier ways, we have a special guest today, English teacher Anna.
Hi, everyone. I'm Anna, and I'm happy to talk about learning words with you. Lots of people think learning words is just doing the same thing over and over, which is tiring and doesn't seem to work. But if you use the right ways, learning words can be fun.
Anna, how do you usually learn new words?
To be honest, I don't like just trying to remember them by repeating. I like to use the words I learn every day when I talk. For example, if I learn the word happy today, I'll say when I'm chatting, I feel so happy today. This helps me remember it more naturally.
That sounds good. But if I can learn words by listening or speaking, why do I still need to learn them by heart?
Many students think the same thing. Actually, learning words isn't just about remembering them. It's about learning how to use them in your life. For example, after you learn finish, you can say to your friend, I finally finished my homework. That's how you really learn it.
Oh, I see. So, can I only remember words if I talk to other people?
Not really. There are other ways too. For example, you can watch English cartoons and try to guess the words. It's okay if you don't know them. Just watch, listen, and guess from the pictures and actions. Your brain will naturally connect the English to real life.
That sounds good. Just watch and guess.
Yep. And also, you can listen to English songs. Pick the ones you like pop songs, cartoon songs, or Disney songs. Look up the words, understand what they mean, and sing along loudly. When your mouth moves, your brain remembers better.
I love Disney songs. I definitely want to try this.
Here's another fun one. Play a word chain game with your friends. For example, one person says dog. The next person uses a word that starts with the last letter G, like grape, then egg, then green.
That sounds like fun. You can also practice words this way.
Exactly. When you learn English in these easy and fun ways, you learn lots of words without even realizing it.
That's true. If you pick a way you like, learning can be fun. But sometimes you learn a word and then you forget it after a few days. What should you do then?
Actually, that's normal because it happens to me too. It always feels like the words I just learned run away. If you learn a word but never practice it or use it, your brain will think, not important, delete.
Huh? Your brain can delete words by itself?
Yeah. You can think of your brain as a really smart little helper that automatically cleans up things you don't use to make space for new stuff. It's like a robot vacuum cleaner. If you don't touch something, it says, nobody uses this? Throw it away.
That makes sense.
For example, if you learned neighbor but never used it, then it quietly disappears. Learned umbrella, but never said it or wrote it. Then bye-bye.
No wonder I always forget those words I don't use.
Right? It's like riding a bike. You learn when you're little, but if you don't ride for many years and then you try again, you'll probably wobble a bit. Words are the same. Remembering a word needs your brain to make a connection. If you forget, it doesn't mean you're not smart. It just means that connection got weaker.
Oh, I get it. So the key to remembering words is to practice and use them a lot.
Exactly. As long as you keep using them and practicing, your brain will keep that word, and you won't forget it easily.
Got it. Looks like I really need to speak English more. Now, some people think learning words isn't that important anymore. They say, as long as you can talk, you don't need to remember too many words. What do you think about that?
Actually, I think that idea is a bit wrong. Learning words is really important. If you know more words, you can say things in more ways, and listening and reading will be much easier.
How so? I think sometimes you can have a simple conversation without learning many words.
Let me give you an example. When you watch English movies, if there are fewer new words, is it faster and easier to understand?
Yeah, Sometimes the subtitles go by really fast, and if you don't know the words, you can't follow at all.
Exactly. If you know more words, you won't see new words as often, and understanding the story will be easier. Also, many ways of saying things aren't just the words themselves, but how they're used in different situations. If you've learned them, you can understand and use them more easily.
I didn't realize learning words helps so much with listening and reading.
And also, learning words can help you with grammar. Because when you learn a word, you often learn how it goes with other words and how to use it. For example, the phrase take advantage of. If you only know what take and advantage means separately, you might not understand that it means use.
I've actually made that mistake before. I try to translate it as take away advantage, and it sounded funny.
Learning words isn't just about learning the word itself, it's also about learning how to use it and which words go with it. This way, when you speak and write, you can use them more naturally and make fewer mistakes.
Listening to your explanation, I think I really underestimated how important learning words is.
So don't just think that being able to talk is enough. Knowing more words can not only make your speaking better, but also help you understand more complicated things. It's really useful.
Okay, I've decided to pick up my word book again. This time I'm going to learn seriously.
Good for you. Knowing more words will make your English sound deeper. But don't think of it as just a task, it's just part of your daily learning. Use a few new words every day, and you'll slowly build up your own word bank.
So, are there any little tricks for learning words?
I can share some ways that I've used myself, and they really work.
Great. Tell me quickly. I really need them.
The first one is making connections. That's when you connect a word to something you already know well. For example, when I learn bark, I imagine a dog barking loudly. That picture pops into my head right away. Every time I see that word, I automatically think of that little dog saying woof woof. It's really easy to remember.
That's a good way. The words become like pictures in your head.
And it's not just sounds. Any scene you can imagine works. Like juggle. I think of a clown in a circus throwing colorful balls in the air. It's really fun.
That's so creative. It does make it much easier to remember.
Another one is using pictures. Some words look very abstract, like complicated. You can find a picture that's really messy, with lots of lines going everywhere to help you remember it. Every time I see that kind of picture, I think, this is so complicated.
Doing it this way feels much more fun than just trying to remember by repeating.
Exactly. And using pictures isn't just fun, it also helps you remember better. Especially pictures with colors and shapes. They work even better.
Listening to you, I suddenly feel like learning words isn't that hard after all.
Right? Finding the way that works for you is the most important thing. Sometimes just thinking about it differently can make remembering much easier.
Looks like learning words can be easy and fun. I'm going to try your methods tonight.
Learning English can be a lot of fun. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. Learn while playing, it works better.
Looks like our brains like these things. Lots of colors, fun situations, strong feelings, and surprises.
Yes, if you change your attitude and your methods, learning words won't be a burden anymore.
Sometimes I really want to practice speaking, but I can never find someone to practice with. Do you ever have that problem?
Yes, especially after learning new words, if there's nowhere to use them, it feels like you forget them right away. If there's no one to practice with, it's really hard to keep going.
So what do you do?
So, I choose to practice by myself.
Practice by yourself? How do you do that?
For example, I give myself a topic, and every day I make sentences about that topic. Today it could be food, tomorrow it's weather, the day after it's travel. Every day, I use the words I learned to make a few sentences. This not only helps me remember the words, but also helps me practice speaking.
That's a good idea. It's like giving yourself a little task and changing the topic every day to say a few sentences.
Right. And you can also write a short story using the words you learned today. Even if it's just a few sentences, it can help you remember them better. For example, if you learned picnic, you can write a little story. Last Sunday, I had a picnic with my family in the park. We brought sandwiches and fruit. It was fun.
That sounds interesting, practicing both speaking and writing at the same time.
Here's another really helpful way: recording yourself. Use your phone to record yourself saying the words and sentences, and then listen to it again after a few days to see if you've improved.
That sounds pretty useful. Every time you record and then listen again later, you can find your mistakes and also see how you've gotten better.
Sometimes when you first record, it feels weird, but the more you listen, you'll slowly get used to your own voice, and you can find problems with your pronunciation and how you say things.
In everyday life, how can I naturally use these new words I've learned? It always feels a bit strange to just force them into a normal conversation.
Don't worry, it's actually pretty simple. For example, when you're cooking, you can try to describe the steps in English. When you're cutting an apple, say, "I'm cutting apples." When you're boiling water, say, "I'm boiling water." Start with simple sentences, and when you get better, you can slowly make them harder.
Oh, I see. Just connect English to real life. You can practice easily at home, while doing chores, or even when you're walking.
Yes, the important thing is to let English become a natural part of your life. Don't think you have to sit down and study to learn. You can practice speaking anytime, anywhere.
That's really down to earth and useful. Looks like I was overthinking it before. I'm going to talk to myself while cooking from now on.
That's the spirit. Learning English should be as natural as possible. What's most important is that you keep doing it.
Great. I learned so many useful little tips today. It was really helpful.
You can do it. Take it slow. You'll definitely improve.
Thank you for your encouragement. I'll be a good student. Thanks again, Teacher Anna, for sharing. There are no shortcuts to learning a language. Try more things, use more English, practice more, and words will become a part of you. I hope everyone can find their own way to learn new words and make English learning more fun and easy. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.
Good luck with your studies, everyone. Remember, a little bit of progress every day, and you'll eventually see your English get better. Don't give up. Believe in yourself. See you next time.